even more pressure on them to be able to get it done. And you talk about it's just one win, but it's Team Liquid, and they have not been dropping a lot of games. This team, obviously, they are 6-0 in series score, but they've only lost, I think, 3 total games throughout the entire split. So they have been doing very, very well throughout this split. It has been hard to even get a single game off of them, and we'll see if NRG is going to be able to do it.
All right, bans have arrived for the first half. Ziggs, Maokai, Ashe, all banned out by NRG, respecting the Ziggs for APA, respecting the Maokai for Umti. Meanwhile, on Team Liquid's side, they're banning out Aurora. They don't want to deal with that being first picked on the enemy team. We're also going to see Kalista and Ivern taken away.
Yeah, and this leaves Sejuani open. Both of these junglers are Sejuani enjoyers, but this has been routinely banned against both Contractz and Umti, and now we're going to see Contractz pilot it. I like that as a start to NRG's draft.
I also just think it's really interesting because you ban away Maokai, then Ivern's banned on TL side, they take away Sejuani. That's mostly what Umti plays, like all his kind of most popular champions. Yeah. He does have the 2 games on Viego as well as the 1 game on Xin, but he did take a loss on Viego. He's not as known for that, and that's not TL's style. He generally is playing engaged, supportive style jungling, and we'll have to see where he wants to take it.
Especially with the 2 champs that TL have already locked in, right? They're going for the double AD carry composition with the Ezreal and the Corki. So I am very curious to see what Umti will come out of the jungle for them with that.
Exactly. I mean, this has been a split where most of the talk in jungle has been about AP power farming junglers. He's played 0 games of that style, right? So is he going to go towards something like that might be more difficult to fit in, or is just here for the tiebreakers? Okay, so that's what we need. We need a TL 2-0 and a Shopify 2-0 if we want some tiebreakers.
Get out of here.
Some people are tiebreaker fans. I'm normally not counting myself in that camp. I generally prefer.
I think tiebreakers are hype if they are for something that matters.
Okay.
If it's like get in or get out of playoffs, if it's like a buy or not get a buy, those are hype tiebreakers. If it's like you are 5th or 6th, either way you're in playoffs. Then it's not as exciting.
All right. I can agree with you on that one. NRG is going to go ahead. They're locking in both of their solo lanes here. They're going to pick the Rumble and the Yone.
Man, this is almost like a throwback to when CLG was playing Lillia Rumble and that sort of style. It kind of reminds me of when they were playing this really hyper aggressive go at you style. I think that was this team, formerly CLG, now NRG, obviously at their best.
And then on the other side, we see the Lillia getting locked in for Umti. This is something we've seen have a lot of success kind of across the board as an AP pick. I am curious to see him on it though, because I feel like I love Umti. I feel like that's very well known, but I also think that some of his worst impulses of overextending or going in when maybe the rest of the team isn't there are curbed a lot by stuff
by playing
like
Maokai.
Maokai, okay? So I'm really curious to see him on the Lillia. We've seen him play it before.
Yeah.
Hasn't always worked out.
Just not this split, right?
Yeah.
And it is a bit of a departure from their standard style. I do think because we have double marksman, we have a source of AP, it's going to be 2 forms of engage, likely as the last 2 picks, which is still going to be, a couple meatballs, a couple forms of engage, and then some high damage carries that work well in 5v5. That has been TL's style, really their MO this entire year. But, if you were just looking at the first 3 picks, you would think, hey, maybe this is a TL draft where they could be a little bit vulnerable because there's a lot of squishy members. You look at hard engage, you look at follow-up there with the Rumble equalizer, with the Yone able to go over the top as well. So for NRG, I feel like they have to be pretty happy for the first 3 picks.
Okay, Team Liquid banning out 2 more marksmen here in the second half, knowing that NRG still has to pick their own bottom lane. Getting rid of Senna also gets rid of anything that might be picked alongside her, especially up against FBI and Huhi, who are known for the Senna combinations. Over on the other side, NRG is removing some of the options for that engage that you're talking about is lacking on Team Liquid. Leona, great at primary engage. Kennen, good at laning against the Rumble while also being a big engage tool himself, so that's going to be removed. When all else fails, lock Ksante. Team Liquid going with the tried and true here in the top lane.
Yeah, I was going to say, of course, it's Impact. He's just going to lock in the Ksante. The Smolder hover is super interesting to me. Smolder got buffed, I believe, on 14-14 slightly, or slightly changed. We've seen it work out well in mid, brought out by BDD, but then also was played last night in LPL bot as well. I actually think Smolder is pretty strong right now.
This being said, you know, while Ksante is a default, it has been horrible in the LCS this year. It is
terrible.
8 and 17.
Terrible.
8 and 17 is the record. To be fair, Impact's 2-0, so maybe it doesn't really apply to him. But, you know, it has not been a pick that has been able to perform. It's taken so many nerfs and then these mini adjustments or mini reworks, whatever you want to call them, with how you can buffer some of the skills and how he does work in top lane, which made him better in solo queue, but kind of a lot worse in pro. So we'll see how they're going to perform. Smolder, obviously a lot of scaling there, you know, is going to be pretty powerful pick if FBI can get rolling. But it can be tough if you do lane against a really powerful duo. If you don't have a strong early lane, if you're getting pushed in, if you're not able to really interact, you can get really put down in how fast you're actually stacking up. So it'll be interesting. But Core, obviously, they do need engage, so they know that he's not going to be laning against like double range or something, which can be really hard for Smolder to get stacks. So it is going to be at least that one melee champion there for Core, but that's big comfort for him, bringing in the Rell, bringing in that primary form of engage, and we'll have to see, you know, how these two teams do match up.
So let me ask you guys, because I definitely feel like the energy comp seems like it's got more in the tank for me.
Yeah.
How are you all feeling about the comparison of the two?
I like NRG's draft a lot more. You have Sejuani plus double melee solo laners. You have a really strong AP laner, a really strong AD laner. Smolder is there to scale. You have two forms of great engage with Sejuani with the Nautilus. So I think they have a really well-rounded comp. But again, that's nameplates off, right?
Yeah.
Because I just think TL has just been such a stronger team.
Yeah, I also do think when I think about NRG at their best, this is a composition that they can succeed very well with, especially with what their solo laners have locked in. So everything is there.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Welcome to the last game of regular split, the last series of regular split, I should say, for these two teams. Team Liquid still yet undefeated in series play. NRG looking to find that magic that we've seen them have before in matchups that nobody expects them to win. FBI taking a couple of shots down here from Yeon early on as Team Liquid invades the enemy jungle.
Yeah, always getting aggressive. TL knows they have a pretty strong level 1 here with the Ezreal moving in, getting some vision. And Umti is hanging out here. I'm not sure that they have eyes on this ward if they've actually pinged that out, but he clearly wants to see if he can actually start enemy Raptors based on how long he's staying around here. I want to see what the response is from NRG, though, because they're aware of this. Will Contractz just cross map? It looks like he's pinging to go towards enemy Raptors and just try to start there. But this is actually being guarded right now by TL, who's going to be looking for a lane swap. I'm not sure if they were anticipating this Smolder lane swap or if they're actually trying to opt into it themselves, but everyone has been talking about how they are by far the best at these lane swaps. They're so difficult to deal with because they just seem to know exactly how to play it out, and NRG has laid a trap here for Umti.
Yeah, Umti's going to try to walk up, contest these chickens, but immediately he's going to regret that decision.
He's dead.
Yeah, there's no way out of it. You don't even waste the flash there. That is a fast first blood for NRG.
And that is so well played by NRG. Having that defensive ward, you know, in that brush, you know, potentially expecting that. I really want to go back and even see who laid that ward because TL clearly was not aware of it. He was sitting on the ward the whole time. NRG never gives it up that they know he's there. They wait, they bide their time, they get that free first blood, and now Contractz is going to be put way ahead.
Yeah, and when we talk about, like, initially, as we see bot lane scrapping a bit, when we talk about initially when Lillia came onto the scene, it was like invading on her, setting her really far behind in the early clear that affected her so much. And now Umti is going to be starting at a massive deficit because of the NRG setup.
Especially when you are the AP jungler into the tank, your tempo is supposed to be one of your advantages. The speed that you have in the jungle to be there first, to be ahead of the curve of the game, normally something you can rely on. Not the case here for Umti with that early death, as Impact's laning experience is not so great here on the bottom side. Huhi into the trench line he doesn't want. One more turret shot brings him down to 100 HP. Thankfully, he will not die there for NRG, but man, that was botched.
I mean, this is really good for TL. He is not only getting experience, he's even getting a bit of farm. He walked up there and you might be wondering, why is he so close up? Clearly they didn't engage on him. It let him get level 2, right? So he was there to get that last minion. Yes, he does have to flash out, but so does Huhi. And TL already getting a great advantage.
Yeah, and when we look at lane swaps, I know I am the resident lane swap enjoyer. When we look at how lane swaps work and you want to be able to get an early advantage, TL are so good at that.
We talked about Palafox earlier, but how about the meteoric rise from APA? You know, this was Summer 23, 0 All-Pro votes. Spring 24, just last split, 0 All-Pro votes. I think he's the favorite to get first team All-Pro. He is playing so incredibly well for the team.
Oh, Palafox,
This is close.
Down to 50 HP. APA, not enough to kill him with one last single auto attack, so doesn't want to flash in for it. Huhi's hanging around here. Plenty of help could be arriving from both sides as Contractz goes in for the Arctic Assault flash. Needs the stun here on impact and finds him. Contractz, though, can't out-heal the damage from that ramped-up turret, so impact makes it an even trade.
Yeah, that's big. Impact's going to be able to get one back. He is doing a really good job hanging on in this lane swap. And we did see that tier list that was shown quickly. You know, that was just to show it's not like he was a middle of the pack mid laner that people saw him as, and he just didn't get the votes for the top 3. You know, Insanity, you know, he just, again, even in spring, had him as the lowest out of everyone. And so many people were ranking him down there. He has improved leaps and bounds, both him and Yeon. And I think that is such a big part of why TL now is such a feared team, because they don't have this weakness that you can point to.
Yeah, especially since, again, it was Palafox who had APAs like welcome to the LCS moment. We had the fact that all last year and even this past spring, Palafox kind of had APA's number
on both sides of the same
lane.
matchups.
Yep. And then also going into this, even though I picked TL to win 2-0, it's looking all right for them. This is their match record between these two teams since summer 2023.
Yeah, and honestly, it's looking pretty damn good for NRG. You know, this is, you know, these teams, you know, playing at different times. This is the timeline. I don't know if you want to talk about this now.
Oh, yeah. So this is basically what I went over in the pre-show as well, but it's kind of the finishes and Worlds performances and kind of overall trajectory of these two teams. It's been kind of a steady climb since TL finished 8th for them previously, but then NRG, you see a little bit of blue at the beginning with the CLG days. But this was the team. They won the championship, right, unexpectedly. They went to Worlds. They did pretty well.
What did they do there?
They beat G2.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you, whenever like in the green room, I feel like you just bring that up randomly.
Palafox in some trouble here mid, has to flash away. It's CoreJJ again, just doing what we know him to do so well, roaming around on these supports, creating pressure, making some space for the rest of the team.
I mean, so many players talk about how it's so annoying playing against CoreJJ because it's not only that he's so active on the map, he's always there when you really don't want him to be, but NRG collapsing.
Well, unfortunately, the start of this one didn't work out as Palafox missed the Fate Sealed, which made it a lot harder to follow up on APA, but now Contractz looking for a little more on Umti. Dredge line from Huhi forces the flash, but it ain't gonna matter. Contractz already getting the first kill in the battle, but CoreJJ is looking to strike back. FBI finally arrives, and APA might have killed the enemy jungler, but they're gonna lose another one. A 2-for-1 trade favors Energy. Azael, Emily, this is the kind of Energy gameplay that they were doing back when they ran the league.
I mean, this is huge. They're getting so active on the map, and I have to be really positive about how Contractz has been playing, right? You know, they laid this trap, they got him the first blood, he gets that lead, and he's done so much with it, getting down to bot lane, getting a kill there, getting aggressive here, chasing Umti down. When it looked like Umti could get out, that final W, that flail comes out, finishes him off, allows him to get that extra kill. He's asserting his dominance on the map.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we want to see from NRG as Contractz is going to come in, try to contest some of these grubs. But this is also why I feel like he has not been allowed to have the Sejuani.
Okay, he goes in to steal the one grub. That's all he wanted to do. He really just wanted to make sure they can't get the full trio in this first set. As there you go, the other two for Team Liquid. Still a very small gold lead here for Energy. We'll see if this turns into much more as immediately Huhi trying to flash away the dredge line, but it's not enough distance getting covered. Palafox and Contractz coming in to get one back on APA. A little bit more damage is required. FBI brings in Mom to join the party as Impact goes all out and Palafox goes all down. It's 5-5, coming alive with 10 kills on the board, 7.5 minutes into the game.
Really scrappy fight, but I think on the back half of that, we kind of forgot about Impact, right? He has been super ahead.
CoreJJ immediately not ready to let the PvP stop. He goes over the wall, forcing yet another summoner spell. This time it's FBI's flash, forced to be expended as Dhokla down in the bot lane crashes a wave into the turret. The True Shot barrage will not snipe FBI down.
Yeah, that was well played again there from TL. You know, Yeon just barrier baiting so well, holding that until the last second, buying time for Core to come in, and that forces the flash out of FBI, getting that positive summoner to trade for them. So even though they don't kill, it is the barrier for the flash trade. And here is that previous play after they had already taken down that one grub. Huhi, honestly, there's just really he can get done here. He's just kind of walking a dangerous path. He needs to walk down below the blue buff. And it does end up initiating what is a really good fight here for TL, largely because of Impact coming in.
Yeah, Impact is going to come on the backside of this, and so when Palafox tries to get out, Impact is right there. He's already level 7. Again, I feel like people overlook the power of lane swaps because they just think of like turret plates or something like that. Impact is in such a good position coming out of this, even with a lot of the early map movements that Contractz has made for NRG.
And Dhokla is so poor. Like, it is tough. He has about as much gold as CoreJJ does, right? As a Rumble who wants to be this guy who's really accelerated, who wants to be, ahead of the pace of the game, getting these early item completions. So when you hit level 11, you have this kind of massive power spike with rank 2 your ultimate. But he is just not even close. He is level 6 right now. He's behind what the AD carries are at.
Yeah, and that's kind of the trade-off in TL initiating the swap. As Umti might want something here.
Yeah, it looks like he does. Lilting Lullaby puts Huhi to sleep. He's got to try to get away from this one, but it ain't going to work out so great just yet. Umti grabbing that first kill as Yeon reinforces his team. Contractz in a rough spot as Umti still trying to hop around. He lives! He gets away! This is a non-hunting part of the woods, boys! The deer is clear of any of the trouble, and NRG's starting to fall apart.
Yeah, TL come up massive, and that time NRG is really punished for a miscommunication. You saw Contractz go in, he nails the ulti onto Yeon, but meanwhile, Palafox is hard engaging onto Umti, not the guy that the Sejuani hit the ulti on. They split targets, and they end up having both of the TL members survive. Absolute disaster there for NRG. And even with that great start, even with Umti dying level 1, it's again TL 10 minutes in, over 2,000 gold ahead. This team just doesn't care about your early game lead.
Yeah, as we see Umti going in, and
Watch
he
Yeon.
does hit the split, the sleep onto, but yeah, Yeon is untouched on the back line. Palafox tries to go in, and Contractz does get that onto Yeon, but he's still perfectly safe, and then APA is coming around the back. It doesn't really matter. It wouldn't have mattered if Umti died as much, but since he does, he's then able to set up for Drake. They're able to get the push on bot side off of this as well. And now they have a 2K gold lead.
And that's just that punish on that miscommunication, because Palafox spends last breath. He goes in, he's looking for Core, he's looking for Umti, and on the other side, Contractz is flashing to land an ulti, right? If the last breath is saved for that and they both go in together, you can maybe 100-0 Yeon, who had no barrier at the time. So very big punish on that. And it's pretty devastating. Those are the kind of mistakes you cannot afford to make against TL, because they just do not give you a lot of opportunities in these games.
No, they do not. TL now with control over this top side of the river. The second part of the Grubs has spawned. Because Contractz stole one away earlier, TL needs to take 2 out of 3 of this second pod if they want to be able to spawn some of those Void Mites while they're pushing turrets later on. And you can see they're committing plenty of players to the effort. Umti going to be up there with Core helping him. Palafox again, not hitting these Fate Seals. Ends up losing out on this trade a bit as Huhi is ready to try to reinforce the Yone. Q3 for the knockup. Palafox now resetting the position with Soul Unbound yet again. TP's coming in from everybody as APA is on the receiving end of the Glacial Prison. The shutdown credit goes over to Palafox.
Yeah, and we'll see what Palafox is able to do with that. In the meantime, Umti actually is able to get those Grubs on topside because they had complete control over that area. So I kind of like NRG going for this play. They recognize that they're probably not going to be able to contest. And now they're going after Impact. Impact
immediately regretting wanting to go after this enemy Rumble. He had friends. Palafox using his teleport to reinforce for the extra damage. Huhi still hanging around for the extra lockdown. And they get another one. NRG putting in the work to bring the game back.
I mean, this is fantastic from NRG. When you start to fall behind, you have to overload one side of the map. You're not going to win these even number fights. So they send extra members down. They kill off APA. And then Impact thinks, surely they're not still here. Guess what? They are. And he goes in for an aggressive trade, gets punished for that as well. So back-to-back kills, cut the gold lead in half there. But as TL does, they spread the map, they're split pushing, they're getting advantages, and you can see this 4-kill Corki, who's farming plates, is going to become a problem and fast.
Yeah, and we'll see what these solo laners are going to be able to do, right? Because even more importantly, these kills are going to Palafox's Yone and then also to Dhokla. He got 1 kill out of this as well. And Palafox should be able to get more damage onto this tier 1, funnel some gold into the solo laners and see what they can do while the Smolder is still scaling up.
Team Liquid invading the enemy blue buff. They want control over this one. They've got a lot of it right now. Should be able to secure this without a whole lot of issue. One more Blooming Blows gets it done. Contractz can't really enter into this area safely. The tier 1 turret still stands for NRG, but it's at such low HP. If they overextend and get caught, their opponents could easily force this into a battle that they don't have a lot of safety to retreat to. APA still hanging around the top side here, ready to escort the minion wave in, and that'll be the end of the line for this turret. There's still enough time left to grab the last plate along with it, so TL, again, even after NRG started to bring things back on the bottom side of the map, TL's up to over a 2,500 gold lead.
Yeah, and you can see FBI has done a good job of staying pretty involved. He's been able to assist with his ult a number of times, so he did pick up a kill, a couple of assists, but he has not really been able to get a ton of stacks. You know, he's just approaching the 100 stack mark now, 14 minutes in. Still has a very long way to go to be able to get to that 225 that he's going to be looking for here to turn on that burn, and we'll see when he can get it. It's also been TL doing a good job of invading, taking away camps, putting on pressure, so he hasn't been able to just kind of bounce back and forth between that mid lane wave and take all the Raptors, take all the Wolves, you know, really accelerate that stacking as you really want to do on Smolder.
Yeah, and as we see Umti taking down the Rift Herald on top side as well, I mean, I think that is what makes this TL team so dangerous at times, is their lane assignments and their attention to detail, right? Because when, as we see, Palafox is going to get this tier 1, but when APA is on one of these carries, they're so good about getting him immediately into side lanes to farm, really having him take down all the tier 1 turrets. And it's that makes TL I would say, the best team in the LCS.
Absolutely. I mean, it is really difficult. It's, you know, when you play against these top-level teams, and we always would see this internationally, where you're winning fights, but the gold is not getting better because they're taking more off the map, and that is that feeling that TL gives you where it feels like they're choking you out on the map. You know, it was a 2.3k gold lead for TL. It went down to about 1k. Guess what? Doesn't really matter. There's been no more kills. All the kills have been going for NRG. We're right back up to 2k because TL is just getting more off the map every single time. They're challenging for these neutral objectives. They're taking away jungle camps, and they're chipping away at your turrets every single time you make a misstep.
Yeah, it's not just about the gold. You bring up the neutral objectives. Team Liquid has claimed the only Drake so far this game. They have claimed the Rift Herald, and they have claimed 5 out of 6 of the Grubs. All of this is in Team Liquid's pocket, and NRG is going to have to find a way to answer because so far, it just feels like Team Liquid is dancing circles around.
Yeah, and now as you said, Clayton, they are setting up for this Drake as well. They're going to try to get mid-prio off of this. I was wondering if they'd go in, but they don't have a wave. But this should give them first setup on this Drake, right?
Looks like they may actually drop Herald bot and just try to use this to challenge on Dhokla. This is pretty atypical, but they're looking for him, and he knows it's coming.
Yeah, immediate engage coming up from CoreJJ with the flash shattering strike. Umti's there for the damage. A little bit more is all they need. Blooming Blows gets him low. Not quite there just yet. The Flame Spitter's cooking, but it don't matter. Umti's on a killing spree and up in the top lane. Impact gets one back in a 1v2. Still trying to scrap, but it's not enough to get away from the Yone. Meanwhile, back in mid. A 2v1 barely works out for NRG. It's blood across the rift. 10-9. Team Liquid still got the lead.
Yeah, so once again, good on NRG for recognizing they could try to make a play topside. Impact does come up with one of those kills, but the big play is that gold is going onto the Smolder from the mid lane kill, and this is kind of the ticking time bomb in NRG's composition. As we've talked about, TL's map control, the fact that they're able to cross map, they're going to get their second Drake off of this as well, in addition to the bot side play that they made previously. But FBI, if he can get into a position, Smolder is still incredible late game.
Yeah, I mean, Smolder is really strong. It's definitely, I think, a far cry from what it used to be because you can't increase you can't increase where you execute them. You do increase the true damage burn, which is very, very strong. But a lot more power has been put into his early game over the patches. It is definitely very strong in the late game, though. Has a lot of mobility, and we'll see if they can make use of it because FBI has had a fully uninterrupted game.
Yeah, as we see, this is the play topside. It's always so hard to dive a Ksante, right? And this has happened to Impact so many times. He is going to be able to take Contractz out before Palafox does clean up the kill here.
Yeah, I mean, the Q3 with the Antovo strike just pulling him back into tower aggro made it all go bad. And if this had gone bad for NRG, it's one of those plays that just kills all your confidence. But at the very least, they were able to survive, make this happen. You can see Huhi just pulling aggro, goes up with the passive root, then backs up, out, and then hooks back in, you know, really tries to kind of play on that edge.
And we're right back into it. CoreJJ stunned up on the front line, might get blown up before anything else can happen, and yes, he does. Now Impact has to be the forward man here for Team Liquid as Dhokla arrives for an equalizer, and Team Liquid health bars are burning up. Yeon goes back over the wall, Palafox drops, and Impact gets another. Now it's NRG scrambling to try to fight and take down APA, but Team Liquid's team fighting is soaring to center stage as APA gets another, and Contractz runs for his life. Yeon's ready to jump over the wall as soon as he's got the cooldown. Team Liquid scaring the remaining players away. It looked good for NRG until it didn't. Team Liquid's built different.
It looked good until you realized who they were going on there. The TL carries always stayed safe in that fight. NRG got the initial pick on Core, then they're on to Umti, but APA is free firing throughout this entire fight, and Yeon was playing over the wall, playing really, really safe. So even though it's that good initial grab from NRG, if you can't kill the TL carries, they are surely going to be able to take you down.
Yeah, as we see, just watch Yeon and APA in these fights, because yes, they get onto Core, but they almost burn down everything there too. And APA is able to get out and do damage even when the equalizer comes down. Yeon is pretty much entirely untouched, just firing over the wall. And once again, Umti just lives.
Yep. I mean, they're filtering into the pit, trying to take down Impact because the TL carries are not exposing themselves, but you cannot ignore APA. You cannot ignore Yeon. These guys are so strong at this point of the game. They both have, you know, the Muramana fully charged up. They both have the Triforce done, and TL now taking over this game. Going to be extending that gold lead up to 4,500, and it's just going to get worse if they can't get that perfect fight for NRG.
Yeah, and this is also where, again, the lane swap really helped, right? Because Impact was in such a good position coming out of that instead of having to get pushed in by the Rumble, giving NRG another lane that they could have potentially played around. And he has been so crucial in these fights. I feel like from his positioning and what he's been able to do in this game, we see exactly why. It struggled in the LCS, except for Impact.
Except for Impact.
Another big standoff here in mid lane. Remember that if Team Liquid wants to engage, it's got to be a really telegraphed Lillia bowling ball into a sleep, or if they want to do a snap, it's got to be CoreJJ. So NRG are the ones who have more go buttons in these situations, but they're so far behind, they don't want to stare Team Liquid down like that for an extended period of time. It's so dangerous. So everybody's going to break off now. The contest for NRG jungle control currently remains in the favor of NRG. We've got less than 60 seconds to go until the third Drake spawns, though. This will be Soul Point Drake for Team Liquid. Do you guys think that NRG even challenges for this?
I'm unsure, because right now Smolder is at 190 stacks. I don't think he's going to get there before the next dragon. You can see he's even pinging his stacks in chat. So he's saying, hey guys, I need every wave. I need to try to get to 225. I don't think they want to fight without it, and I don't think he can get it in time.
And as that happens, as we see him going to catch topside wave, previously, Corki had pushed out bot, right? He's pushing out bot again. They're getting mid-prio off of this. They should be able to get a lot of damage onto this turret as well. And that gives them complete control over this area going into Drake. Like, look at where APA is. Look at where the rest of the team is. This is set up perfectly. They knew that Smolder's going to have to go topside to get that wave. And this is what TL do so well.
And I think it's really, really impressive, because you can even see the indecision is causing an FBI. He actually walked up towards top lane, then walked back, realizing, oh, we're going to lose too much, then start walking up again, then start walking back. Like, the calls are very split here. TL is making their decisions difficult because APA is getting damage done. There's no hesitation from TL. They take that tower down in bot. They're going to take the dragon for free. They're still monitoring the Baron area, making sure that NRG can't do any sort of a cheeky Baron rush. So TL is covering everything and just taking advantage after advantage after advantage, playing the map expertly.
Yep, and parts of TL are still there, again, because they set up this Drake so well. Dhokla had to respond to the bot side wave, and even as they try to get vision on this Baron, TL are able to push them in with the remaining members that aren't taking Drake and still get mid-prio off of this.
Team Liquid in total control of Summoner's Rift. The fog of war feels suffocating if you're wearing an NRG jersey right now. And you can see Umti and CoreJJ waiting off to the side here, just seeing if NRG gets a little bit too confident with their positioning. as they dance back and forth with Impact and Yeon. Now NRG grouped up as a 5-man ball, going to try to move around a little bit, but it's so scary. They have such little vision. They'll try to use the Electro Harpoons to face check into the brushes here. Huhi's got to be watching out, man, here with a fella like CoreJJ with a full team engaged Magnet Storm. Team Liquid was patient, and patience is a virtue. FBI dies second, and Yeon's ready to chase down Contractz for number 3. Arcane shift in to guarantee it. Everybody's dead except Palafox. The fight was so easy for Team Liquid, and Baron's the reward.
It's the perfect engage from CoreJJ and the perfect follow-up from Umti there. The 4-man engage from Core, the 4-man sleep to follow it up from Umti. No hesitation on the TP coming in from APA from bot lane. The ulti over the top from Ezreal. Everything was picture perfect. They wiped the map of NRG. FBI didn't even hit 225 till as he was dying.
Now Yeon trying to survive against Palafox here. The Stolen Bound mini death mark almost had enough to kill him. Almost.
Not even close.
Yeah, I feel like that just adds insult to injury, right? As we take a look again, look at how good TL are at playing with Fog too, right? Because they know that NRG, even with the scuttle down, have to go into them. Core gets off this absolutely phenomenal engage. Umti follows up. Yeon follows up. Impact is there, and FBI dies immediately as soon as Yeon goes over the wall.
And I love how TL played this, right? Like, this is something that is so impressive about them because most teams...
Dude, if that is not the most... When I was a kid,
it's
and
so
I got a 99 on a test, my mom would say, what happened to the other one?
Same.
That is that version, but for coaching from Spawn.
Spawn's like, why didn't you do that 10 minutes ago?
That was pretty good, but we could have done it better.
I mean, I'm just blown away by TL though, because really I think they're one of the only teams in the league that is posturing for a fight like that with their mid laners pushing bot, right? Like they see the angle. NRG is walking in there because they see APA bot, and they say we are 5v4, we are grouped, we win this fight. But TL says no.
Immediately, NRG trying to hold off the Team Liquid assault. They summon Mom. They use the ulti from Huhi. They use the equalizer. Everything except for the Fate Sealed was spent there. Team Liquid just seeing this. Green light means go straight into the heart of the enemy base. Mid lane inhibitor is down. Bottom lane inhibitor turret next on the menu. And Team Liquid is looking hungry. The turret falls before NRG can heal back up. And now they got to try to defend without the extra firepower. Yes, Team Liquid has some injured health bars, but they don't exactly look too intimidated. Impact with that Pathmaker makes it so it's impossible for NRG to find any sort of a meaningful angle on him. Umti's still waiting over the wall, going fishing with the bowling balls, as Team Liquid still not ready to leave just yet. NRG has still failed to force them away. Bottom lane inhib still taking a little bit of damage here from this enchanted cannon minion. Impact once more, not in any real danger because of the Pathmaker. Team Liquid still forced back, but still not all the way. Finally going to call it off and retreat back into the enemy jungle.
Yep.
Yeah, finally they're able to call it off, but like that's still so suffocating to have to deal with, right? Because NRG are getting shoved in their base. Obviously, TL would have liked to get that bot inhibitor, weren't able to get it with the pressure and Baroned up cannon minion there. But they reset, right? And now NRG are just running out of options.
Yeah, I mean, it gets really difficult, right? You know, there's already the Warmox is done on Core. We already had a BT done in APA. Now he adds in the Rapid Fire. BT just got completed for Yeon on that base. So now you can't really poke out either of the ADs. You already couldn't poke out Core. You were never going to be able to poke out Impact because he's too tanky. So it becomes very, very difficult. You need to look for this 100-0 type play, but the counter engage is quite good for TL. And unless they are all grouped up and getting mass AoE'd, they really just need Yeon or APA to be free and Umti to be able to set up some sort of a counter engage when NRG goes in. And it should be a pretty much impossible fight for NRG.
Yeah, Team Liquid with full control of the map with a 9,500 gold lead and their sole Drake spawning in less than 10 seconds. It just feels impossible for NRG. You've got to pick the play with the least chance of failure. They decide it's time to go in now with the equalizer and the Mom immediately engaging on TL, but it won't find anything but the tanks. True shot barrage on Contractz. He'll be the first to die. Palafox is stranded alone between Team Liquid players. A double kill for Yeon, and they are not stopping. Umti leads the charge and hits Dhokla with a big deep as CoreJJ locks up FBI. Smolder didn't have time to scale, and NRG's time in game number 1 is done. An ace for nothing again for Team Liquid. NRG might have started off strong, but TL is fast to counterattack, and they'll clean up this first game easy peasy.
And that is our best team in the LCS. That is what they make you do. They push you into these situations where you have to make a decision, and that decision still plays into how TL have set up the map. Really, really strong game from them. I don't know if Spawn will agree, but I liked what I saw from TL today.
All right, congratulations to all you at home who are headed for a first place finish.